Okay. Thank you. Okay, we're good.
Here's the thing that I just stumbled upon a couple of weeks ago, and it's so deep and so simple at the same time that it is an absolute mother god gem, which is the reason that we keep self-sabotaging is because we are functioning out of line with our core characteristics. So the first thing we need to identify is, what are those core characteristics? Because you will never be able to be successful if you're on a path that's in conflict with them. That those are the things that you decided in this lifetime you were coming to experience and to express. So we're going to look at those core characteristics that are you, first of all, and then we're going to craft how you can work within them. But we're also going to take something that you do as part of that core characteristic and just make it a little more empowering. And that's in the relationship zone here. Because I see something that you're doing over and over and over again, and it's so loving and it's so kind, but it's not empowering you. And I'll explain to you why you are attracting the people that you're attracting. And then we've got to just clear out a little thing that will allow you to go from attracting the person who could be an ideal person, but who is, you keep attracting the almost, and I want you to attract the perfect. Does that make sense?
Yeah. And I liked, I love where this is going. And also I liked what you said about introducing me to the treasure that is me.
Yes, because you are such a treasure. I'm ready to adopt you. And I'm a really good cook, so that comes with it. And California is a beautiful place to live. So start thinking.
And that's actually where the girl here is moving back to. It's California.
Well, hop on, be part of her luggage.
No. She's not interested.
No, she's not the right one. But
no.
We've got some, you have so many wonderful characteristics. And we're just going to clear out that one little area so that you can still attract some of these qualities, but you're going to stop attracting the ones that want to continue in their damage program.
Oh yeah, totally. Yeah, that kind of ticks me off.
Yeah. It's like, I mean, that big heart says, okay, you're going to be dealing with a lot of people in the damaged category. There's nothing wrong with that. Some of the most incredible people have damage, and that's why that's how we grow. That's how we become these incredible people. But in a mate, you want to attract somebody that, even though they're still in the damage category, or they may have just left the damage category, they don't want to attract a new damage category.
Right. They want to leave the damage behind, right? So instead of just staying in it. Yeah, that is something I've noticed it, because it eventually, I guess it pisses me off. It's like when I notice it, because then when they don't move past it.
Right. You're like, come on now. Life is wonderful. It's to be lived. And they're like, oh no, I love being
still attached to it.
In self-pity. It brings me such joy.
Or even if they're not that much on it, but still, it's just still there somehow, right? Like, you know they're holding on to it somehow. And I may be doing it too, but I believe that you're going to help me let go of another piece of that.
Yes. Well, for them, it's there and they're attached to it, and they haven't done the work yet to let go of it because they're not interested. You, on the other hand, recognize that it's there. We all have it at some level, and you've done the work to release it, and you don't want to go back there, and they keep wanting to drag you into that place again, and that's when the relationship falls apart. So we need to just do a little tune up.
Cool.
So that you can attract the wounded bird, because that's one of the core characteristics of you, is you're there to help the wounded bird.
Oh.
But you're going to choose from now on wounded birds that are in the process of healing and have no desire to go back to the wounded.
Good. Because otherwise it's very frustrating.
Yes, because you're like,
So I'm not saying I want to be with a wounded bird though, but yeah, as long as people are moving forward, right, that are getting out of it. Like that, I'm just saying it would be frustrating if they're holding on to that, so they don't even want to go beyond it. Then we're at odds in our mission, or like, you know, in our intention. And I like what you said also about core characteristics. When have you known that for a long time, that thing, or was that kind of custom to me, or?
no, Mother revealed this to me. I taught a class on how to stop self-sabotage. And Mother revealed this to me, and I was just, my jaw dropped open. And my first thing was, okay, Mother, how come you waited so long to share this with me?
And this is like for procrastination too, right? Stopping that, because I've had clients that say procrastination, and so then it's probably that, like trying to operate in something that's not aligned with their core characteristics, like you said.
Probably. And so, you know, it's a very in-depth class, because first I have you identify your core characteristics that you believe you hold. And then we go and ask the angels, okay, give me the truth. Who did I really come to be? Not who are the masks that I'm wearing or that I've become accustomed to wearing. And that is really fascinating. And then what we realize beyond that, after we've identified this, we say, okay, I've got these 3 to 5 characteristics that are my core characteristics, and I am absolutely certain that I must live my life in line with these characteristics. So now I got to figure out how I'm going to organize my life so that I am honoring these characteristics. Otherwise, I will, at some point, cause myself to self-sabotage if I'm not in alignment. So in other words, hold on, let me just write a note about this, because I'm so glad I was
Okay,
right
great.
out the
Yeah,
window.
I'll be back in a second. I'm going to close a window.
Oh, okay. Okay, so here's the thing. Let's say one of your, well, I already know because I checked on you, but let's say one of your core characteristics is being a helper. And so you decide you want to be a successful business person and make a lot of money. Fine, absolutely wonderful. Nothing wrong with that. Here's what you cannot do. You cannot step into an unethical business trying to get the money.
Mm-hmm.
So here's an example that I gave in that class. I was on a teleseminar with a guy who said, this is how you write ebooks. And because I'm a writer and have published previously, I'm thinking, you know, great, I really want to hear this from this guy, because he understands how to do the ebook market, which is something that I haven't embraced yet. So I'm listening to his seminar, and he's talking about, okay, here's how you identify your niche and make it between 1,000 and 10,000 people so that you're not uh, um, lost in the crowd, and assign these different characteristics of, how to, or different things like that, that will make your title more appealing. I'm thinking, yeah, this is good, really good information.
Mm-hmm.
And then he gets to the place where he says, and you can farm out your work if you don't like to write. Thinking, okay, I'm short on time. That might be a good idea. Still on board with him. It's been fine up till now, matching my helpful characteristic that I have too. And then he says, but here's what you do. You send out to all these different writing websites that you want a 25-page report. Now, make sure you don't tell them it's an ebook. Thinking, why not? Because if you tell them the truth that you're publishing an ebook, they'll want part of the profits. Okay, the radar is going off this scale now. I'm like, oh.
All right. Well, he's just recommending that part. In that part, he's recommending deception as a way to do
Yeah,
it, to make
right.
make more money, or not give them the profits or something. But
So
but then
yeah,
you know, like, well, that part's no good. The other information could still be good. But
right. But
anyway, love to hear
here's
what happens.
here's what would have, and then he says, and when you get to the website, you'll see that they have a price, but don't pay them that price. You need to negotiate and get them down, because after all, they're doing what they love. So it's okay to rip them off. He didn't say that, but I'm, my
Um,
my radar is going off the scale. And
Now
I'm
you're
thinking,
feeling even more weird about being on the podcast.
right now, like my stomach has started revolting, and I'm like,
Okay.
so here's what would have happened is, let's pretend that I followed his formula exactly. I chose my niche and I used the title, and then I went in on this website and I told them I want a 25-page report, and I negotiated the price. I would do the work because I'm very consistent and very reliable. I would publish the thing. I would pay them, and I would never make a penny, because I would feel so badly that I was ripping them off, that I would make sure not only would I not make a penny, but I would have paid them. I would
Yeah.
have paid whatever the other fees are, and I probably would have given the book away so that I would stay in line with my core characteristics.
Right.
So that's, if you don't know what they are and you try to be something else and you're not aware. I mean, obviously, because I do this work, when as soon as he said those words, I was almost out of my chair. And so I was never going to do it that way. But that's the perfect example of why you would self-sabotage if you don't understand what your characteristics are and you're trying to follow someone else's business model.
Mm.
Now, he saw nothing wrong with that. He didn't think that was bad at all. He thought he was helping them because he's paying them to do work, and he's the smart one for understanding how to make money off of it, and they're the dumb ones for just writing.
Right.
So he's not receiving any repercussion from it. He's
Yeah.
able to
Because
flourish
he
because,
doesn't see it as being wrong. It's
and
not against his conscience or his
he,
morals, ethics. Yeah.
yes, so he's within his set of core characteristics,
Mm-hmm.
able to function, whereas all of the empaths that I deal with, and including myself and you, we would all immediately implode if we tried to follow that business model.
Yeah. But we can
So
still write the books. We can still write the book and launch it on Amazon or whatever we want to do.
exactly, we
And
can
and
do
if someone else writes it, that's fine, but do it fairly. Everything has to be above board. Yep.
Yes. So I could go to the writing website and say, I'm writing a 25-page ebook. Please submit your quote. I would pay them for that, and pay them 50-50 for the first 6 months, which is when the book has the biggest life. And then I would feel that, okay, I can, because it was my idea. I did the work, I did the promotion, whatever, I can now with good conscience move forward and take the rest of the profit that comes in from the book. And then I would not be stepping out of my my phone keeps falling over.
Oh yeah, I was wondering.
It keeps sliding. Let me find a different thing there. Then I wouldn't be I would still be in line with my core characteristics, and I wouldn't have to self-sabotage. But if I were doing it the other way, I would make sure that I lost money and paid the person for the privilege of losing money.
Mm-hmm.
Then I would feel better. Then I'm like, okay, that seems fair to me because it was unethical and I can't do that.
Mm-hmm.
And so what we do now is say, okay, what are our core characteristics? And if one of them is sharing, which is also another one for you, then what do we do about having knowledge that we have acquired legitimately through a lot of hard study, perhaps, or hard work, or time invested, or money invested?
Mm-hmm.
How do we possibly say, now I have to sell this information, and why can't we just run around the world and give it all away? So here's what this was a terrible conundrum for me.
Mm-hmm.
So here's what Mother finally shared with me is what you do is you say, I give to myself this understanding of, what do you call your business?
Right livelihood.
Right livelihood. Thank you.
Yeah.
I give to myself the energy of right livelihood and the ability to live well from what I am presenting. And
Mm-hmm.
I gift to anyone else who is open to receiving the same energy of right livelihood in whatever way is for our highest good. Now you are no longer have to feel, oh my gosh, what if Tom over there in the Netherlands cannot afford my course? Should I give it to him for free? Now you don't have to, because you've already gifted it to Tom energetically. And all Tom has to do is reach out energetically and do the work to receive it for himself. So it gets all of those of us who love to share off the hook as soon as we give energy of it, not the product, because the product is something you made, but the energy of it to anyone else who's open to receiving. And then, of course, we follow that by saying, in whatever way is for our highest good, because we're not in charge of how they are to receive.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Marcia. The heart
That was
here. This
such
part, I like, that's super valuable, and I'll go back into it and use your word for word thing, and that's why the recording is so great to do the recording.
Let's give you a perfect one. Let me give you one from Mother. Hang on. But
Okay.
it was such a Gordian knot from me. I was just like, oh my God, my stomach is constantly in knots because I have this knowledge. Now, I may have spent 30 years acquiring it, but I still have this knowledge. And what about poor old Mary who says she's on disability and she can't afford me? How
Right.
can I possibly
That
allow?
is such a pain point for people, isn't it?
Oh,
You've nailed it.
how
Such a hard thing for people to deal with.
how can I allow Mary to suffer when I know how to get her out of this?
Yeah.
And years and years, and Mother finally said, "You're finally ready. Hooray! You're finally to the point where you will understand this." And it's all about, we do not have to share our knowledge physically because we have spent so much time learning it and should receive for. However, we can get around this ridiculous program we brought with us, which is helper sharer, by gifting it energetically. And then because everyone must do their own work of receiving, we then allow them to receive in the way that's for their highest good. And I don't have to sit here saying, oh, Mary's on disability. Oh, it's my fault that she doesn't have this information. I'm bad because Mary could have used it. Now Mary has the information too. But if Mary chooses to stay disabled, that's not my choice anymore. I didn't
Right.
force Mary to be disabled. I'm not keeping her disabled. Mary is making that choice for Mary. And that's now I can take a deep breath, my stomach can relax, and I can honor myself and everyone else by saying, it is available to you. Open yourself up energetically to receive it. You will either bring in someone who will help you for free. You'll find a free service. The library is full of free books, and you can do this on your own, or you can make a choice to invest in yourself, and I will help you do the work. And now no more guilt, no more self-sabotage over, I've got 10 people that are paying me nothing, and I can't pay my own bills. And wow, wow, wow. So now, thank God, that's all gone. But let me just listen to Mother for a minute and give you an affirmation that is directly for you. Mm. She's amazing.
Mm.
And I'll explain this to you because she's so amazing. I love her.
Mm.
Okay, so here's your affirmation. I, Bevan, receive the energy of right thinking and right living in abundance of all things. I now gift this energy of rightness to all who are willing to receive in accordance with our highest good. So she's taking you even further beyond your right living to encompass everything. And she's saying, you are just to receive that energy of rightness, of authenticity, and in abundance, so that because the well can never run dry when we're receiving from source, you want to incorporate in your affirmation right thinking and right living in abundance of all things. And then you gift the energy of rightness. And the reason that she changed the word here is because some people are not ready. So we're going to allow them to receive whatever is right for them. So I now gift this energy of rightness to all who are willing to receive in accordance with our highest good. And it's always not their highest good, but our highest good, because of course, you first are gifting this to yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Without an explanation, it says, I, Bevan, receive the energy of right thinking and right living in abundance of all things. I now gift this energy of rightness to all who are willing to receive in accordance with our highest good. Now, what has happened is everyone has been, you have shared with everyone. But most importantly, you have shared with yourself first, acknowledging that you must be that strong lighthouse first before you can share with others. And so you're lined up to receive everything you need to receive, and you're completely off the hook about Tom in the Netherlands who cannot afford your program. As soon as Tom decides to receive, he will have this energy too. It's no longer,
ask Candid is given.
yes, it's no longer up to you to be the one-man warrior that runs around giving you away to people who are not wanting to, who won't even open up to the energy of receiving.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, and this is great. It's so awesome. Thank you, and thank
That
you.
was, I mean, I was running around saying, "Oh my God, thank you, Mother, thank you, Mother, thank you, Mother. This gets me. This is freedom for me. Thank you, Mother, thank you, Mother, thank you, Mother. I don't have to apologize for setting this price, and I don't have to, you know, now I've gifted it to you. You don't want to do the work? Well, guess what? That's your choice.
Right.
I don't feel badly because it is your choice and not mine. I didn't force you to say no. You made that choice.
Yeah, it's respecting people's free will, absolutely. And also people chose a path, and so they might choose struggle, and then we have to respect that, not judge other people's paths as not being right. It's right for them. It's up to them how they want it to be.
Right. So Mary over there that's on disability who won't even sign up for my free program is no longer my responsibility. You know, she wanted hand holding and she doesn't want to listen to an audio and do it on yourself. By yourself. She wants me to do it for her.
Right.
Okay. Well, I used to always fall in that trap. And now I've already given her me energetically. So now I don't have to give her me and my time.
Okay. Mm-hmm. And but also this thing about selling our knowledge or our wisdom, Bashar talked about it. Like, you know, Daryl Anka channels Bashar. And so he talked about that. He said, because some people like argued with the thing about selling information. So then he talked about that. And so people, yes, there's nothing wrong with those people who are exchanging value for money, information for money, because what they are doing is providing the service of plucking that information from the tree for you, right? Like the information is accessible to everyone. You can tap into it. If you want to tap into it, you can tap into it for free. Just use your own mind, right? So like everyone can do that. Just like you said, you've gifted it. So if we give that, we've given it. Instead of holding it within ourselves and be like, oh, this is secret, like I'm not going to let people have it. We're actually saying everyone can have it. We've already given it. I love what you did. And so Bashar agrees with that. So he's saying, yeah, because we have the ability to access any information that is applicable to the idea that we're creating ourselves to be, right, in this local experience. We always have that power. So anyone has that, and they can access the information for free themselves. But if you ask another to go and provide the service of getting the information for you, organizing it for you, presenting it for you, that's a valuable service that you're requesting, right? So that's why we charge for it. We're getting a value exchange.
Yes. And I will say, you know, I used to say to people, what grocery store do you go into and buy and load up your cart with food and then walk out the door without paying for it?
Right.
So why would you possibly think that you could use my time and my knowledge and not compensate me for it?
Right. Absolutely.
But it's easy for you. Well, okay. Well, after 30 years of perfecting this, yes, now it is. But I have worked at other jobs and they never said to me on payday, well, it's free this week because you're good at it.
Right. The worker is worthy of their hire. There's always a value exchange. Otherwise, we're not valuing ourselves. Everyone has to be
Exactly.
valued in any transaction or relationship. Everyone must be valued for who they are.
Exactly.
Yeah. And people don't value what they get for free either. So they may do that. They beg for it for free, then not value it, maybe not take action on it, and they're really disrespecting us. Then even worse, if you allow that to happen.
Well, yeah, I mean, with this 28-day program, oh, thank you so much. And then they don't even open day one. I'm thinking, oh, glad I have this thing that's free that for me was great practice and taught me how to use the um, teleseminar thing and, did all these things. I'm grateful that I have that practice, but I'm also grateful that I didn't waste my time offering you a consultation when you won't even bother to
Hmm.
start the first thing
That's
on your
right.
own.
Yeah.
I got,
All right.
hang on just a sec.
Okay, sure.
Oh, that's great, honey. She's not, he's not hurting you.
Carol, the handling of this good. Listen, that's what it is. I can't help you.
Thanks, honey. That's my husband. I have the cat on the chair next to me. Our dog that visits during the day is over here. She's yelling at him. He's talking to me, and I'm talking to you.
All right.
Welcome to my crazy house.
Um,
And that's without the kids.
so this core characteristics thing. This is really cool. When I got an Akashic record reading, I think Stephanie Lavis talked about like soul family, soul group of origination, or star group of origination. There's some cool stuff there, really good stuff. And another program I did was called Discover Your Sacred Gifts, yoursacredgifts.com. And so those gifts are like, they're pretty useful too. Like a gift of teaching, of knowledge, of wisdom, encouragement. See, that's seeing the potential in people and like encouraging them.
And you realize you're a highly sensitive empath. You do know that, do
Probably.
no, definitely.
Okay.
Definitely. Now, the reason it's important to know that is because you've got to make sure that you understand where you begin and you end and they begin. I know that we all mix together, but at some point, there's the end of Bevan's true energetic field and the beginning of theirs. And you've got to remember when you are working with some people and you're feeling odd emotions, especially, oh, here we go. Thank you, Mother. In your relationships, you get the signal immediately and you keep ignoring it because of the incredible loving heart that you have. You've got to give yourself permission to say, I need to get out now before I've invested so deeply that it really hurts when they leave.
Are you saying I get a signal, but you haven't explained what the signal is? Is the signal is that I should leave the relationship? Oh yeah. So I get that pretty quickly, or I would get that very easily, but then I need to listen to it.
Yeah, because what you're doing as an empath is you're saying, oh, I'm picking up all of these feelings. They're wounded. They need my help. They're
I remember doing that.
they're and then you're also getting the signal of, hey, they're completely rejecting any opportunity to move forward. Well, if I just work harder and do more for them, they'll get on board and they'll move forward too.
Wow, that really speaks to me. I have all these stories of that. Like I did that here. I helped Lily while she was getting ready to go for a trip. Yeah, totally. We broke through pretty good that day though.
Well,
Still, yeah.
that's wonderful, because you're never going to stop being able to be a helper. That's a core characteristic.
Yeah, it was good, and she thanked me for it. So it was definitely a good thing. But yeah, I definitely gave too much, right? It's the too much helping, when it's in the wrong direction, maybe.
Well,
And also Alan Hardman, he's a relationship expert. He was like 2 doors down from here. He said, "Hope we still have the connection." Oh yeah, it says the connection's unstable right now.
over here.
Okay. Oh yeah, so Alan Hardman at joydancer.com, he said, we don't need to do something to earn love, right? So like I noticed I was doing that. I thought I had to do something. There's these coping mechanisms or something, like these little inner children, and he talked about these things. And so like doing these patterns of doing something to earn love.
Okay, but here's the problem with that. Your core characteristic is big, giant heart and a helper. So you're not going to be able to help yourself from doing something loving for another person.
Oh, well, it's fine. It's fine to do that. I like being who I am.
Yes. So rather than tell yourself, oh, I'm doing this to earn their love, just let it be okay. Hey, I'm a helper. I love sharing, and I'm doing this because I love it. But when I get that signal that they're not on board with me, I give myself permission to leave before it becomes a big conflagration. So that way, you're going to answer your core characteristic, which, you know, my son says to me, why are you on the phone with these people so long? They're only paying you for 2 hours. I love it. I absolutely love it. And yes, I should keep better boundaries, but I really love that. So I've been able to say to myself, okay, I really love what I'm doing. I am going to create additional products so much of my time doesn't have to be spent in just this one direction. But I'm going to be okay with the fact that if it takes 4 hours and I've loved every minute of it, I'm just going to be okay with it and know that the good that I'm doing will come back to me in another way, instead of beating myself. Why can't I stick to the schedule? It's not going to happen. It's too much a part of me to lift you up and get you to that place, and completely alien to say, oh, time's up. See ya.
Yeah, like a psychiatrist.
Right. I mean, that would force me to screw up in some other area. So yes, it does mean that I'm working really way too hard, but I know it's coming to the point where I'll have these other products out, and then I'll just have a few clients instead of needing this barrage of them, because I will have developed, you know, I've got these other income streams going. But it was just so freeing for me to be able to say, I know who I am. This loving, sharing person who wants to make sure we've really addressed this issue before we move on is somebody I'm really proud of being. And the person that looks at their watch and says, well, go sit with that for a week because I'm done, would not allow me to keep my sense of pride about my work. So, you know, in that way, when we know who we are, then we can say, well, you know, there's going to be a trade-off here somewhere, and I can't trade off the guilt of letting you go feeling lost. So I've got to trade my time and just trust that the universe will bring that money that I may have lost by spending so much time with this one person through some other means. Whereas before I was beating myself, oh my gosh, now I don't have time for another person. And, my income isn't growing. And that was just, let me let go of that. I could say, all right, well, I got to be true to me and be offer the best of me and just trust the universe to bring the other stuff whenever it gets around to it and to take care of me in the meantime.
Hmm. I thank you for giving me all this. I want to give something to you.
Okay.
So this video here, like this recording that we're doing, is it okay to put this on YouTube, for example, and allow other people to benefit from what we've said, the conversation? Is it okay for it to be public?
As long as you don't feel that what I've shared with you for you is very personal, and some people don't like other people.
Oh, that doesn't matter because I'm an open
Okay.
book and I do this sharing my journey thing, so we can just say it's part of the journey.
Okay.
And yes, I'll use what I learned from you.
Okay.
That's not the thing. That was just an initial question. Okay. So then the idea is do a little quick video, use the same thing, right? But I'll stop it and make another clip. And then we use it, put it out on YouTube, and you're the expert, right? And you share something from what we already did there because you've organized some of this. So we can make it for a certain group of people, right? Like the highly sensitive empaths, or we can just make it for that same group of like how you identified me. And then we just give them some tips to help them in something that's going to make their life better.
Oh, interesting, because I'm writing a book, Survival Guide for Empaths and Highly Sensitive People.
Okay, perfect.
And that's just going to be an ebook because most of my clients are really sensitive. Some of them were not even able to leave their houses when we first started together because they're bombarded by this stuff. Now, I don't have that sensitivity that they have. Mine is so auditory that, you saw me, I just write it down. I hear it and it comes out. But so the feelers are so highly sensitive that they are not even able to leave their house because if they do, oh, thank you, honey. If they do, they run up against the energies of other people. And so I'll give you an example of what happened for a woman who I adore. Nobody has worked harder to make her life functional again. And I'm so excited about how far she has come. Extreme abuse as a child, extreme, the most horrific abuse you can imagine. And at the same time, a very highly sensitive person, and so yet unable to differentiate between what belonged to her and what belonged to other people. So completely paralyzed by this because she's dealing with the guilt of her childhood, which we always, whenever we're a child and we receive abuse, we somehow believe because the adult is supposed to be the one you should respect and look up to and trust and be safe with. Children have the tendency to believe they have done something to deserve this punishment, no matter what it is. So they bring to their adult lives this feeling of guilt. Well, I should be punished because as a child, I received this abuse. And one of the ways that we notice this, and one of the ways that this comes forward for them, is children will also often remember or be connected to heaven at the same time the abuse is beginning. And so that at that place, they may remember the contract that they made coming in. And if they do, then and I think I shared this with you before, then they automatically assume, well, I must be the failure because this is not progressing in the way that we had planned it to go. So the abuser may enter into the contract with the quote unquote victim. I just want you to be the bait, so to speak, and I'm going to use this lifetime to learn how to overcome this tendency to be a molester, a pedophile, a physical abuser, or a verbal abuser. And then when they are not able to do that, the child that is still connected to heaven recalls the contract and starts to say, I deserve to be punished because this is not the contract we had in place. Because I know this, I must be the one at fault. So it creates this horrible downward spiral for the abused person. Now, one thing I always caution about is, remember, there can be no victims. You must give agreement. But what we don't know is that agreement doesn't have to be made consciously. It can be a subconscious agreement planted by the events that continue to keep happening. So in the beginning, somebody tries to abuse you, to sexually attack you. In the beginning, you may find yourself saying, oh no, oh, this is horrible, horrible. But then it keeps happening. And they begin creating within you a sense of agreement by wearing you down. And so that then you become in that victim mindset, even though you didn't feel that you ever made an agreement. You made the agreement because of this ongoing pattern of behavior. So then you have to go and undo the agreement and have you look at why this pattern of behavior began, what your part was in it legitimately, and why you can now be free to dissolve this agreement and move forward and step into the person that you came to be, as opposed to the person the events forced you to be. But highly sensitive people have got to be so vigilant, because even though we are housed in these physical bodies, we know that we are not physical beings looking for the divine. We are divine beings housed in a physical body. However, we are the stewards of that body. So one of the things highly sensitive people must always be clear to do is to take extremely good care of their physical bodies. And one of the things that my helpers tell me consistently, because people will say, what diet should I follow? You follow the diet that resonates best with your body, but it must be free of preservatives and artificial additives. So they will always say, eat as close to source as possible. You can eat it raw and you can eat it cooked. You can put flavoring on it, but it isn't something that is produced in a lab. It must be something that grew originated as a natural product. And as long as you stay within that realm of it was either produced naturally or it grew naturally, you can eat any way you want to eat as long as it resonates with your body. There's no, everybody has to be vegan. Everybody has to be an omnivore. Everybody has to be whatever feels good to them. Just no high fructose corn syrup, no lab produced things, no artificial anything. Get to a farmer's market if you can. Get to know the farmers so that you'll see if they have a relationship with their produce, and then you'll have that relationship with the produce as well. Get to The same thing with your meat. If you can find a butcher, you want people who are as close to the final product that you're ingesting as possible. Grocery store has too big a chain of command, and you don't know the hands that it's passed through in order to get to you. And everybody adds their little dose of energy. And so that's why you want to eat as close to the origin point as possible. But then the other part of that is exercise. We cannot sit still and expect our bodies to operate perfectly.
Yeah.
They are designed to operate for the length of your life's journey in whatever way you have decided to live that. But you're under the obligation to get exercise in whatever form. Again, we don't have to all be weightlifters. Choose the type of exercise that you enjoy and do it with regularity.
This is what I agree with that too. Do the exercise you enjoy, like not something that's boring. Yeah.
Right. And, because your next door neighbor lifts weights and they're healthy doesn't mean you need to lift weights. It just means you've got to find something that you enjoy that you will do regularly. And that does not include sitting on the couch and watching TV. That's not exercise.
No.
Or sitting behind the computer and playing a game. It's got to be moving your body and allowing the body to rejuvenate and regenerate in its way. It also includes proper sleep. You can't be up.
I'm gonna go wash this apple. You can keep going, but I'm also curious about oh yeah, it's good. I'm curious about if you're talking about empaths, or spiritual highly sensitive empaths. Are you saying a lot of them were abused, or are you just saying you were just talking about that example because one person was?
Unfortunately, most empaths have come with a really, really, really tough childhood.
Okay.
One of the reasons that they do that is because they are exploring the contrast of the two. And I'll give you an example of the one particular person who has made such tremendous strides. She wrote into her chart that she would experience these extreme periods of abuse because one of her goals in this lifetime is to determine whether, if presented with this extreme behavior, could she still present herself as a loving being. So the abuse was serving the purpose of giving her the opportunity to find out if she could be the loving being that she chose to be in the face of a tremendous amount of adversity. So many empaths have written into their charts in the beginning some sort of adversity because they're in this lifetime, particularly this lifetime when we're transitioning, they are in this lifetime to be of great service. And one of the ways that you become of great service is to overcome a particular adversity. So they've written into their charts these big periods of adversity so that they can assure themselves that they are, yes, able to lead, to direct, to guide others because they too have overcome this.
Okay, that's cool. I'm about to write a book, be a co-author in a book about overcoming adversity. Do you think that my story of going from I think the adversity may have been inner inflicted, self-inflicted, which was going away from being who I was, the inauthenticity, the fitting in kind of thing. So it's going away and then doing things which aren't right for you, and then feeling like a robot or whatever, and then coming back, the journey back to self. Do you think that that's an overcoming adversity story?
Yes, except you're not going deeply enough because you forget that one of the things that you've brought here to be is to rescue the wounded bird. So you must include in your story, well, I had no wounded bird experience on my own, but I was forever collecting people, animals, and others who would not allow me to fix them. They wanted to stay broken, and it was extremely dissatisfying and challenging for you because it made you keep thinking that you were a failure. Well, if I can fix you and you won't let me, I must be the failure. I must be the problem because I can fix you and you won't let me. And
Oh,
I'm a healer and I came to help the wounded birds and you won't let. So then you went off into, well, then I just can't do that. I really must not be a healer. This is not what I came to do. I'm not going to honor that part of myself because I failed at that. It's clear. See, you wouldn't let me help you. And so you ran away
so
from.
I definitely, yeah, because I said in 2010 I wanted to inspire people, and I think inspiring people means seeing a bigger vision for them than they see themselves, and help them see it and walk into it. I think it may mean that. And I went away from the inspiring people thing because I kind of failed entrepreneurially the first time, and then I went back. I sold out on my values and did a job again that I didn't want to do. Which I made money with. I paid back all my debt, and then I could start again more intelligently on the entrepreneurial path. So I think you're totally right there. I did give up on it the first time, didn't I? And
Well,
so
you
then I'm
had.
coming back and figuring it out again, and you're helping me.
We all had to fail a zillion times before we'd identified, okay, I'm not going to give up on my dream. And it's got to be okay with me if some people won't go there with me. But that's part of, if we knew our core characteristics when we were 10, we wouldn't have to go through this failure period because we would understand, oh, I just stepped out of line with who I am. Let me adjust it and I'll get back on track again. So unfortunately, Mother just gave me this information about a month ago. And so that was not available to us earlier. And so we spent the process of doing it the long way, which is failing, running away, failing, running away, failing, and running away until we finally became so frustrated by not being who we were that we said, okay, I give up. I'll just be who I am. And if my phone is doing.
Oh yeah. Just a little bit of technical difficulties here. It may reconnect. I'm making some notes over here. There's a lot of material. Definitely we'll go back to the recording to figure out the story thing here. Helping the wounded bird, the person that didn't want to go with the healing. You don't have to. You don't have. You can allow yourself. I can allow. I didn't know at the time. Okay, now we've dropped her off. Okay, here we go. So we'll stop this recording.